everybody, this is Spring Washam and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about a very powerful topic. That is the topic of death and rebirth. Now I want to talk about it from more of a metaphorical perspective or a sort of mythological perspective, not necessarily the act of dying and reborn, although death is all around us. But I feel like this topic is really powerful right now because it's, look at the year we're in. It's amazing what's happening and terrifying, right? Epidemics and environmental issues and the civil rights movement, and it's so challenging, and yet it is a powerful time. Anytime that you're experiencing these aspects that are like the underworld is being pulled up. This is the kind of stuff that, heroes and heroines rise to meet these kind of moments. And many of you might not know that for many years I've been practicing shamanism, and I'm a healer, and I go to South America. So I tend to see everything through that lens of the great story, the mythology. And here we all are in this time together experiencing very different things. And for many of us, we are being challenged, and our whole lives are kind of being uprooted, reworked, and also sometimes things very painfully are leaving us. People, jobs, finances, our roles in society. Maybe we had heavily identified with a certain type of archetype. I'm a this or I'm that. But we're in a process where everything is dissolving. Everything is in flux. I think that's a good word, right? Everything is uncertain. For a lot of us, we use that word a lot. Anytime I try to think of even 3 weeks from now, I'm like, well, it's uncertain. Well, it's uncertain, right? We're all in this sort of crucible and we're waiting. And so what does it mean when we say death, rebirth in a spiritual level? Sort of in the tarot deck, it reminds me of the Tower card. Some of you might have seen it. I wish I had one in front of me, the Tower, where, it's a fire tower and we're falling. And the Tower card is also a powerful card, right? Something is dying. Something is being let go. Something is going away, dissolving. And that's with us. Our own healing process always involves dying to the old and being reborn. This idea of death comes in a lot of different ways. It might have come when, a lot of people have written to me in different states. Some got COVID. I have a friend that was in England who got the coronavirus. Some of us might be in a process where we're reevaluating all of our relationships. Maybe you're in a marriage that's not working. Maybe you're in a partnership that's no longer working for you. And so I think all of these are aspects. And some of us might be going through what we call the dark night of the soul, right? Which is a really powerful place. And it's like we're going through sort of the hole in the ground, right? We're coming down into the earth. We're descending into something. Now, with every descent, there's always an ascent. There's always the rising. You fall into the underworld, and the underworld is the mythological place that means the land of the dead, and in Greek mythology, people would travel to the underworld to find parts of themselves that were lost, right? That had been forgotten. And often that's what death and rebirth is. We are dying to the person that we were, and the new spirit, the new energy is trying to take birth. But they can't reside in the same field. Something has to go for something else to have to be reborn. And that process can be beautiful, it can be terrifying, it can be joyful, and it can be create a lot of uncertainty and confusion. It's usually a mix of all of those. Awakening usually is a mix of everything. It's not just like, oh, this is so blissful, one bliss cloud after another. It's never like that on the spiritual path. You know why it's not like that? Because really, the whole journey is about letting go of something. You can't really take all your baggage with you. Everybody tries to do that. Like, can I hold on to this? Can I hold on to that? No, you can't any longer, right? You have to climb the mountain and all of that stays behind. And that's what's so painful about death rebirth cycles, is that we still are attached to the person that we once were. We still are attached to the energy that is dying. We're still attached to it, right? And so that's what is so uncertain. That's what creates the doubt. That's why we feel fear when we're experiencing it, because we're like, wait, I still like that person. I still want her, him, they, she, right? I'm still, maybe I do want to still be like that, even though that person might be an addict, bad habits, destructive. We're still drawn to it. And so as we're evolving more and more, we're like the snake shedding its skin, right? The old is going, the new is arising. And I want to say that on a collective level, especially those who are following a spiritual path, it is more profound and it is more accelerated right now, right? It's almost like death, rebirth all the time. Things are moving, shifting. This is what allows us to be reborn. So something is dying. We must learn to let go of it, right? There's no hope for hanging on anyway. You know, that's just our ego clinging, right? When these cycles start to happen, it's best just to surrender. In my book, A Fierce Heart, I write this quote that people like. I say, if something's trying to unravel, just let it, right? Don't shut down the breakdown. Allow the process to do itself. And then the rebirth comes with a lot of magic, a lot of beauty. Usually when something is reborn, it's much more connected to the heart qualities, our compassion, our service in the world. You know, what dies often is much more attracted to the ego, right? The me mind, right? Me, what's in it for me? Greed, hatred, delusion. And then usually when there's that death experience, what's reborn is something much more connected to the heart. Love, compassion, finding your voice, finding your truth, right? What are you meant to do? Although death and rebirth experiences can be terrifying, they can come with periods of depression. Even when we're going through these cycles, we might actually feel like we're dead. Like I remember when I was really in a deep cycle of death and rebirth, you know, you just lie in your bed, you're like a corpse, right? You're even wrapped up sometimes in a blanket, you know, everything feels like it's dying, dead. We often might say things like that, I'm dying, because energetically something is dying. So in those moments, it's really important to reach out, talk to people, get support. It doesn't stay like that, but we actually do go through, it's like the metamorphosis, right? We're like lying down and we're carried down this stream. It's the stream of awakening. It's the stream of light. Trust that it's okay. It's hard to do because we do feel like something's dying. And whatever is trying to let go, just let it, right? And we might have many tears or frustration or anger, or we might lose all of our energy. That often happens is fatigue. Whenever I'm going through a death rebirth, it's like, oh my gosh, this fatigue, we just can't keep our eyes open. The energy really does is like keeps us lying down, right? And then as all things, the spirit rises. Right? At some point we just stand up and we head out into the day, right? We're like, wait, it's getting better now. The birth brings on a renewal, a rejuvenation. Sometimes with the birth experiences, people want to move to a new location, right? Suddenly they get rid of all the things in their house, they downsize, or maybe they cut their hair, or they get in a new relationship, or they start studying a new philosophy. The birth is bringing us more and more into who we are, more and more connection with our deepest truth, more and deeper connection with that which we are meant to do, what we're meant to be on this planet, right? So we can trust usually the evolution of that flow, especially if you're on a spiritual path. But if you're not, this might be the opportunity for you to open that door. Sometimes it's when we have breakdowns that we have breakthroughs, and that something in us opens to a new way of being. Are you someone who practices awareness, mindfulness, meditation, right? Connecting to your heart. Death and rebirth is always about that. You know, I've said that a few times because all my experiences of dying have been so painful energetically and even shamanically. But then as things are renewed, it's like, you know, out of the winter, then the spring comes, right? Out of the deadness of the trees, new life comes, right? New leaves. This is the cycles of our lives. Everything is dying and being reborn moment to moment. Everything arises and everything passes away. This is a powerful time. Don't be afraid and trust what is emerging through you. Trust that whatever is being let go of, it's for your highest benefit, right? That just do that dance of like, may it let go peacefully, may it move, may it flow out, and trust that whatever is meant for you, the highest vision of your life will emerge through this process. So I thank you all for joining me today. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. And you know what this channel is about is just offering all kinds of teachings, all kinds of reflections on the heart, on meditation, on strength, on healing depression, healing our bodies, healing our families. That's really all I'm trying to do, is just put helpful things out into the world. So thank you all, and yes, have a beautiful day.